News continues here on RT. So, NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden's on the run, and the White House is desperate to get hold of him. And I'm joined live by Max Keiser, the inimitable host of RT's Keiser Report, which looks into the murkier side of the world of finance. Max, surely not even you could make any connection between the Snowden saga and the state of the US economy, or any financial implication in general?
Well, the American economy runs on confidence. Confidence that the world accept the U.S. dollar as world reserve currency. Confidence that the U.S. bond market will remain the global standard. And what we've seen is a sell-off in the bond market and a sell-off in the stock market because confidence in the U.S. and its ability to maintain this global empire through interest rates and central bank policy is crumbling before the world's very eyes. What's interesting, Bill, is that Edward Snowden worked for Booz Allen. Now, Booz Allen allegedly, along with a few other companies, are the masterminds behind LIBOR market rigging, energy market rigging, Forex market rigging. And this is really the fuel that keeps the American military empire going because the American economy itself cannot support its military ambition, so they've resorted to market manipulation, and the kind of intelligence that Edward Snowden is able to aggregate is key to manipulating markets in ways that make Booz Allen, allegedly, the channel for billions and billions of dollars into America's military campaigns. And this is really about money, markets, and manipulations. It's not about security. It's not about anything having to do with anything that the White House says. That's a smokescreen. Remember, the White House is a puppet of Wall Street, Booz Allen, the hedge funds, and the financial interests of the corrupt banksters.
All right, Max, can you also give us an idea of how some of those big companies like Google and Facebook or whatever could actually benefit from this surveillance program by prison? Is there financial gain from them?
Absolutely, because all of the manipulation involves rigging the indexes, and the indexes are all data sensitive. So if you can manipulate the data, therefore you manipulate the indexes, and you manipulate the markets. And if you have advanced knowledge of that inside information, you can make billions of dollars off front-running, high-frequency trading, algorithmic trading, and of course all the banks on Wall Street are in on this, and all the banks in the UK. Look, it's very telling that the foreign minister of Ecuador said that, look, what you're talking about us about extraditing Edward Snowden. What about bringing back those bankers we asked you to bring back to Ecuador who we caught rigging and terrorizing our market? What about the Icelandic bankers that have been asked by the government of Iceland to be extradited back to Iceland that are being held in the UK? What about these other instances where banking terrorists are being sheltered in the US and the UK and they're not responding to extradition agreements? So this is all about financial legerdemain, Bill, and unfortunately the fat slob Twinkie-eating bozos in America don't have enough money to fight their wars anymore, so they have to resort to snooping, data gathering, and market manipulation.
And Max, what about the diplomatic fallout? Of course, we're seeing now tensions between China and Washington, but that, of course, leads to economic tensions. Could that be perhaps an impact there on trade between the two?
I hope Russia, China, Ecuador stand up to the financial terrorists in America and Britain. Stay the course. Don't give in. Don't appease the financial terrorists on Wall Street.
But how can a small country like Ecuador, how can a small country like Ecuador really stand up against such a big giant like America, where there is indeed trade between the two?
What Edward Snowden has proved is that if you live a principled life and stay true to your convictions, you can change the world.
And are we going to see then a massive financial fallout then, perhaps between China and US?
Well, China's got a fantastic card to play, $1 trillion US that they can dump on the market at any time and jack interest rates in America up by 5 or 6 points, which would throw that real estate market back into collapse. China's pulling the strings here. China's got all the cards to play. America's the biggest debtor nation in the world. So I think, and look at the bond market today, Bill. It's selling off pretty spectacularly all over the world because confidence in the American hologram of finance is collapsing. They flip the switch. They see that the emperor has no clothes. There's no underlying economic activity to support the military occupations and financial occupations that are emanating from the U.S. Game over, Bill. It's game over.
Good to talk to you, Max. It's great to talk to you in person. Looking forward to your next show, as always, on RT. Thank you very much indeed. Max Keiser, live in London. Now, China's, as we were talking about just there, is one of the major victims of Washington's spying program, but the US still felt it could demand Snowden's arrest in Hong Kong. And Martin Jakes, he's the author of When China Rules the World, told RT America is trying to get away with being the world's biggest brother.
The United States presumes that it can be the global spire without any kind of accountability to the world. Whatever the Chinese have been doing, the United States have been doing it on a far, far, far greater scale. So I think my expectation in this is that the United States will go quiet in relationship to China on these questions. And, you know, the Europeans are very unhappy about it because European countries, because the Americans have been spying without any kind of permission on major European institutions and, of course, many, many individuals. And no one will believe that they've stopped doing it. I mean, how do they now, where do they go from here? In any case, they're justified. I mean, they've been saying, well, it's legitimate for us to do this and so on. So, you know, it used to be, if you remember, that the United States was the global policeman. Now it's the global spire.
Well, Snowden's revelations have earned him a place in an exclusive club, a group of people who have upset Washington by leaking some of its most sensitive information. He now stands shoulder to shoulder with US Private Bradley Manning, who's facing life in prison on charges of aiding the enemy by exposing America's controversial war tactics to WikiLeaks. Snowden is charged with espionage. He may face a similar fate. Thomas Drake, he's another prominent whistleblower. He managed to escape jail time after his case collapsed in court. Unlike John Kiriakou. Now, he's a former CIA agent who's currently serving 30 months in jail after pleading guilty to leaking details of US torture techniques. But he entered a plea bargain, which got him a relatively small sentence. Not sure if that would ever be an option, though, for Snowden. And others include nuclear proliferation expert Stephen Jinwoo Kim. Now, he is currently awaiting trial after allegedly telling a journalist about North Korea's intention to test a nuclear bomb. Now, there are other names on the list, making Snowden now the 7th man charged with violating the Espionage Act under Obama. Well, with governments and corporations using all means at their disposal to spy on the public, the demand for data encryption services is skyrocketing. RT's Marina Portnoy looked at how citizens are trying to shield their personal information from the leering eyes of Big Brother.
In a post-PRISM world, some are losing and others are gaining. Google, Verizon, Facebook, Apple, and other U.S. technology companies have lost credibility and the trust of their customers. Encrypted communication services, on the other hand, are seeing their businesses boom.
Oh, it's going crazy. You know, a lot of people suspected the U.S. government was spying on Americans, but now we have this confirmation, and so everybody is contacting us now, and we've had a huge surge in orders.
Phil Zimmerman is the co-founder and CEO of Silent Circle, a global encrypted mobile service that protects users' privacy from the U.S. National Security Agency and big data companies.
We have created an architecture that doesn't share the cryptographic keys with the servers that we control. We don't keep logs of the connections between people. So a court order can't make us give them something we don't have.
However, privacy doesn't come free. An annual membership to Silent Circle costs $120. The newest kid on the block is Seacrypt. The mobile app encrypts voice calls and text messages. The South African company has clients in 200 countries, with skyrocketing demands recently coming from the US and UK. The application essentially allows you to create a new identity with a secure phone number.
Seacrypt was born out of this need to protect the everyday man, the traveling executive, going forward, not just in your own country, but especially when you travel to other countries where spying, as you could call it, is at the order of the day.
Meanwhile, daily traffic at the search engine Start page has doubled in less than a month, jumping to nearly 4 million queries. The Netherlands-based company doesn't store IP addresses, and it's not subject to U.S. jurisdiction.
We strip out anything that would identify you, and then we submit the search for you to Google on your behalf. And then we get the results back from Google. We strip out any kind of tracking cookies or anything that might be included with that. We serve the results to you privately, and then we delete all records of your visit. So we delete your IP address, we delete your search terms, and at the end of the day, we have no record of anyone even having been on our website.
While the global push for privacy is accelerating, experts say encryption alone won't be enough.
The NSA surveillance is worse than I thought. I think we also have to try to push back with public policy debates in the U.S. and get the laws to change.
The exposure of America's global electronic surveillance program has also revealed alternatives to all those who want to secure their privacy. However, in most cases, people will have to pay to protect their communication from a government that's been accessing and storing data for years. Reporting from New York, Marina Portnaya, RT.